Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is the Stache and Beard Show. We didn't die. We're not gone. We're still here, living it up in the city. I'm in Lincoln. Right there is Alan Pilley down in Orlando. Alan, how are you?
What's up, motherfuckers? Doing real good.
Man,
glad we're finally back on the air.
Yes. Oh my gosh. And if it wasn't for internet problems, we would have been having gravy. Like it would be, oh gosh. I knew you were ready to like throw something against a wall. Like
I almost lost the computer, I'm not gonna lie. So glad that didn't happen.
Yeah, for sure. We would have been in a lot more trouble if if that was the case. Just you on your cell phone selfie camming.
Yeah. Yeah. Me in a podcast on my cell phone.
Head too wide for the camera. Oh man. But oh no, did you freeze? Don't do this to me. Not now. Oh no.
We are.
Oh,
I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. You were frozen.
I touched the microphone for a half a second to move it back.
Well, apparently we shouldn't touch it. Yeah, that's right. Hands up the entire time. No. So, but we're glad to be back. We're glad that we've ironed out some details, and we're ready to bring you the Stache and Beard Show in the way it was meant to be, with a fantastic stash and a fantastic beard.
Motherfucker, you look at that thing.
Thank you. It's taken some time to get to this point, and I've had patience. It took a lot of patience, and it took it being enough of a nuisance while eating in order to get me to style it every single day. Like, I went camping with my family this past weekend, and I forgot my styling stuff, and I was trying to eat a hot dog, and I was like choking on the stash because it was just hanging down, and it was like I was eating with a soup strainer the whole time. It was awful. So now it behooves me to style it for functionality. Yeah. So,
welcome to there's foods I have to abstain from, or else it's in my beard. Mm-hmm. Foods that, and then beard hair, eating it. So it's definitely your food choices change depending on where you're at, restaurants.
I don't think I'll ever have a chicken wing ever again. A sauced chicken wing is out. It's not happening. I'm just not doing it.
I love spaghetti, and I'll eat it here. I got to choose wisely at restaurants, or else, it's all in my beard.
Yeah, and then it's there for a long time. It doesn't it's not just like
the sauce. You can't just wipe it. Now it's in the hair. Mm-hmm. Smells like it. You got garlic the rest of the day.
Yep.
So yeah,
I don't do milk anymore either. Like I know Liz is like, anything with whipped cream, because after about 10-20 minutes, you start getting like a rancid milk smell coming out of it. So I've stopped like consuming milk and whipped cream and all that sort of stuff, probably for the better. I was probably having way too much of that.
So I've told you, like, even with the beard oil, depending on quantity, like if I happen to, something grabs my beard hair and pulls it into my mouth, I now have food and beard oil. Right. Good luck getting rid of that taste. And then if I touch it, if it's all over my shirt, my hands, it can be. Now have to pick where we're going. What am I wearing so it doesn't stain my shirt?
Yep.
I think I told you I was in court 2 weeks ago, last week, whatever it was.
Yeah, something like that.
I couldn't put beard oil because I didn't want it to drip into the shirt. And
I can imagine that would have been rough, man.
Yeah, so I legit had to. I had no beard oil in court. I had to choose how I styled and things like this while I'm trying to look professional and not scary to these people.
Right.
So.
Yeah, for sure.
But anyway.
But yeah, so that's how we're doing, but the biggest thing that we need to talk about is that CTX people did some big things over the weekend. Like real big things. Holy cow. So who all competed? It was Damari.
So we had Damari, Jabo, Teddy, and Mason.
That's right, the two youngins.
Yeah. Yep. Three first-time meets between Damari, Mason, and Teddy. But then two, I can't remember. God, have we had anybody in high school? I think this
No.
was like our first time having teens out
Yeah.
competing. You know, I don't remember with Paulo back in the day. He was always between competing and stuff. He may have been a teenager at the time.
Mm.
I don't know why, but this was our first 2 teens and the only 2 teens yesterday. And the 2 of them went out there and they tore some shit up. So it was good to see them on the platform for the first time.
Yeah, absolutely. Actually, it's funny. My youngest brother Eli, who's going to be a freshman this year, he was looking into seeing if there was powerlifting, high school powerlifting in Nebraska, and it is, but it's not done through the same like. I think it's FHSA in Florida. It's not done through the Nebraska high school sports. It's just a bunch of people that love powerlifting.
Oh, okay.
That you can then contact the school and through the school and all that sort of stuff. And we were taking a look at the numbers and we were like, man, there's some really strong kids doing this. But I'm like, but Eli's a freshman and he can beat half of these guys. So he's in his mind, he's like, as long as it's not in the winter during wrestling season, he's going to try it. So,
yeah.
So, but
get him out there, dude.
It's absolutely becoming a much bigger, I think with the help of like Jujimufu, Larry Wheels, all of these YouTubers that are showcasing powerlifting, it's becoming really big in high school and younger age groups.
No, I mean, even I know that the 2 sports get divided and, you know, the hate on gear, but even seeing like single ply stuff in high schools popping up more, being more prevalent, like that's awesome to see.
Yeah.
That the gear is getting traction, you know, or making a comeback, so to speak. You know, that's neat to see, and gaining more interest from people that never would have given it a thought, you know?
Yeah, absolutely.
So I enjoy seeing that.
Yeah, me too. It's always fun to see. It's always good to see that sort of stuff. But
and you know, going on a, not to interrupt you, but like getting the youth involved, you know, building the sport, getting it with them, and then hopefully, you know, who knows, you know, see the 2 of them off to college playing sports and stuff. But if it doesn't pan out that way, maybe seeing them do something with powerlifting, you know, and go be a name in that sport as well. If football and lacrosse don't pan out for them, you know, it just depends.
Yeah. And the other thing, something that I want to throw out there, and this is something I've seen online, and you and I both know when it comes to online stuff, people just hate and hate and hate. But one big thing that I've noticed is that when these young lifters go out and they do something really big, a lot of older lifters then come in and I think they mean it in a joking manner, but they'll be like, oh, well, I shouldn't be doing this at all if these kids are doing this, you know? And I just want, like, I hate the comment section. I despise it, can't stand it. But, like, especially when it comes to high schoolers, because high schoolers can take things in the worst way and it can really fuck with them. It can mess with their brains. And so I guess I just want a message to the world is be positive, especially with young lifters, because they need that more than anything. Like, even if you're trying to be sarcastic, if it's online, here's a tip, don't do it. Because it's all in how it's perceived, because you don't have that voice with it. No,
and I agree with you. You know, I was just talking to somebody about this yesterday while we're down in Sarasota. I personally haven't encountered a lot of negativity with my lifting, with my style, my whatever you want to call it, my denomination, my theory, you know, of the way that I coach and stuff. And I don't catch a lot of flack for how I lift. And, you know, and what I'm getting at is, like, you know, them being so young and impressionable, seeing the positives in the sport and amongst us and the camaraderie and the brotherhood and things like that, and sisterhood, not leaving that out, but Absolutely. Like the camaraderie of it, building that and getting them to be a part of that from this young age on, you know what I mean? And building them up, not breaking them down. They're at this age where they need to be built, you know what I'm saying? And to come out and see that amongst us, you know, at our own gym, but then see it at the meets and stuff, I think is huge. And I've always encountered that personally. I've never had anybody try and break me down in this sport. You know what I'm saying? I just, you know, you hear Danny say a lot about it. You hear Anthony Oliveira say about it. Mark, give back to the sport, you know, what it's given you, you know, and if it's either giving a 39-year-old an opportunity or a 17-year-old, whatever it is, give it to them, build them up, you know, and then you leave that with them. Say, you know, one day I'm going to bow out of this. I don't know when, but to be able to leave that with them to maybe still give to people, like what you doing with your brother, man. Yeah. You know, you started coaching him, you know what I'm saying? I don't know if that was ever something in your mind that you wanted to do or that you two ever thought would happen, but through you and I being friends and lifting, you know, you're now giving back to your brother, you know, what somebody gave to you, and hopefully your brother, you know, pays it forward as well. So anyway.
Yeah, no, 100%.
Just go out there and be a good person, which you and I have said, regardless of lifting, just go be a good dude.
Yeah.
Go be a good chick. Give back, you know, be nice, and, you know, pay that shit forward, man. You know?
Absolutely. Yeah, 100%. So what were their numbers? I know Damari ended up getting best lifter, didn't he?
He took best lifter. So let's go back to Teddy Mason real quick. We'll come to that one. Mason finished up with a 435 squat, I think it was. Is that 435 or 444? I can't remember.
Yeah.
Teddy got a 335.
Yeah.
So they went 3 for 3 on squats. We got to bench. They went 2 for 3 there. Both attempted a PR on their third attempt. They didn't get that one, so that was where they missed a lift. And then we get out to deadlifts, and they both went 3 for 3.
Nice.
And Mason finished up with a 480 pull.
Oh, jeez.
Oh, dude, you talk about like the energy in that room for these two boys at their pick. So Teddy came to me, and on his third, I said, "Hey, man, like I need you to be patient. You're slow off the floor, but once you get that thing moving, that motherfucker's gonna go." And so we made his third call. We made Mason's third call, and the two of them it was a third attempt type of call.
Yeah,
and they both just got them and locked them in. And the energy from the room and shit, like it was awesome to see. So first time meet, teenagers, you know, like we just got them talking about building them up and building the sport and leaving that with them. And then that's what they finished with was those third attempts to cap the day for an 8 for 9. Dude, it was awesome to see.
That's awesome. Yeah. Did they both total over 1,000? I know Mason.
I got to go back on Teddy's. I think he was just shy of $1,000.
Yeah.
Mason totaled 12 something.
Just shy of 12. I saw it on Noah's Instagram story. I think it was like 1140 or something like that. But both fantastic totals to jumpstart their competition careers.
Yeah. No, then we had Jabo. Jabo was down there. He took a 573 squat on his second. That's a 13-pound PR, I think he said.
Yeah.
Took a stab at 6, got it out of the bucket, and it just stalled. But he put up a fight with it.
Yeah.
Dude, put up a fight with 355. And it was one of those ones where I personally would have been like, hey, like, guy, what are we going to do on your third? You know, like, let's just rest. But dude put up a fight with 355.
Yeah.
And it was a beautiful fight, man. It was a grinder, but the dude stayed with it, just kept pushing, never gave up. The energy from that room on that lift, dude, that was amazing to hear and to see.
Hell yeah.
And then I'm looking at him kind of like, dude, it's your meat. Like I'm here for you. What do you want? And he's like 65. So he took him at the 65 and got it just off his chest, and it wasn't there. Mm-hmm. But the grinder at 355 was amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember his. He got his 600 deadlift, went for 622, and it wasn't in the books that day for him. But put up a good number with the 6. So he had a good showing.
Yeah, definitely. And I always love watching him compete, and I love watching him train, because when it comes to training, Jabo is like one of the most intense trainers there is.
Dude,
he takes it so seriously. Yeah, you know? Absolutely.
He fights. And there's days when it's just like, even like say on his bench coming in, making sure his shoulder was fine. That was the biggest thing.
Yeah.
It'll be like, hey man, like, I think we should take a second, let's not go up. Comes back. Let's do this. And I'm like, okay. And then
sure.
Then it'll be like a higher board. I'm like, okay. But because he wants it, you know what I'm saying? Like, so there's days to applaud that, and days of course to hey man, like let's be smart. And then he don't feel pain and wants to keep fighting, dude. How are you going to stop that? So keep fighting.
Absolutely, 100%. And then the big Damari showing up, man.
So this was his first meet. He's never powerlifted before. He's always just done the lifts in the gym.
Yeah.
And I don't know how to start people off with him. If you don't know who he is.
So the way that I would start out with Damari is that when he came to the gym, he was already super strong, very, very strong. Yeah. But he was like when you build a brick wall, right? You're supposed to build the foundation, and the foundation is supposed to be straight, all this sort of stuff, and the higher it goes. Damari's foundation was like curved, and there were bricks kind of everywhere. So like the wall was standing; it was a stable wall, but it didn't look super pretty. And so when he came to our gym and he started pulling in these technique tips, then it just got better and better. Exactly. He started to clean up the foundation, and it really has. You've seen that technique grow since coming to CTX.
And he listens. When he first came to the gym, he had these goals that were, I don't want to say outlandish to be negative, but I'm kind of like, all right, dude, like those are some good long-term goals.
Right.
I want short-term. And so we reeled him in on those, and we put everything together, and we went down to this meet, right? And warming up was just like, come on, dude, I need you to wake up. And he's like, yeah, man, I'm not awake yet. And I was like, well, you're about to go up. I need you awake.
Yeah.
And it was weird to see, because as the weights got heavier, they started moving faster. And it's like,
really?
Oh, dude. And the warm-up room, he was like, how'd that look? And I was like, I've seen you move it faster, but how do you feel? He's like, man, I'm not awake. And I was like, all right, I need one more warm-up. We're walking you out to 7:05. So we're out there, and warms it up, and I'm like, that moved faster. Like, okay, he's waking up.
Mm-hmm.
So we cut it. We get him over there to the room, and he opens up at 7:05 and smokes it.
Yeah.
And he's like, if I get this 7:05, we're going right to 8:05. Like there was no middle ground with this man. There was like, we're going right to 8:05. Yep. And it was reminiscent of CJ. CJ's like 9:03, we're going to Grand. All right, we're not going to go. And we had some miscommunication on this last meet, but generally we go 9:03, we go right to 1,000.
Right.
And so he missed the first attempt at 8:05, comes back and not only sinks it, how I told him to, but then made everything look better on this third attempt, which generally doesn't happen. Like,
dude, I watched this squat like 4 or 5 different times, and I was just shocked at how clean it was. I don't know what other word to describe it as. It was seriously, and he sank that son of a bitch.
Bobble. He didn't have knees going everywhere. He made it look like a very good squat. We're very proud of that.
Yeah.
So then we get to the bench, and I call him outside, and me and Chad are literally now we're running chess. And I called Damari back and I said, hey man, like what are you here for? He's like, I want to win. I said, okay, do you want a total or do you want money? He's like, I want money. I said, okay, then me and Chad are going to play this a little differently. And I want you to know that there might be some numbers you may have, but that we don't need, so that we can keep you safe to lock in the money. And we can go get the total later. He's like, all right, sounds good. So
that's having trust in your coach. That's having trust in your coach right there.
Yeah, and like this is our first meet together. Me, him, and Chad. Like he's thankful he put that in us and believed in us. So me and Chad, we get him warmed up, shoulders feeling great. He's smoking weights. Yeah, goes out to 425, and we're like, hey, look, 425, 45, 65. And I said, hey, like we're 100 pounds up on this guy that you have. You're already going to outbench him on openers. Let's see where he goes. I may not need a third attempt, especially if your shoulder's bothering you.
Yeah.
So me and Chad go and run the numbers. We call 46, smokes it.
Nice.
But I was like, dude, we don't need a third attempt. Like, let's keep you. Me and Chad had already started doing the numbers. This kid that he was going against is a puller. We're talking like 760, 750. So going into it, we knew that we had room to give up if we needed to. And so me and Chad are literally on deadlifts. I'm over by the white screen, looking at it, running numbers. They walk out. and right off of openers, we lose 45 kilos.
Whoa, dude.
Yeah, from 595, Damari opened up. This guy opens up at 693. So we right off rip, we lost 45 kilos. Wow. And now it's, hey, we can't afford to make misses. He wanted to go right to 7. He wanted a 700-pound deadlift.
Right.
And I said, dude, let's go for something lighter. Lock in your numbers. Because what if we go right to 7 on your second and you don't get it? And then you have your third attempt and you don't get it. So we took him a smaller jump, made about a 50-pound jump, got that, and the guy goes and he misses his. And I'm like, okay. But he had gone up on his second attempt by 15 kilos. So he was trying to bridge the gap. He was playing the game.
Right. Yeah,
so
absolutely.
Literally, thanks to Chad having him over there with me and, you know, making these calls, you know, to help me lock the math in, you know, and the guy goes out on his third attempt and he doesn't get it. And that kind of sealed the deal there, you know, when he didn't get his.
Yeah.
We really didn't even need Damari to take his third attempt. He went 20 pounds up higher, just in the off chance that this guy's like, yo, I want to go up. I mean, he tore his hand on his second. The dude could have taped it and gone for broke. And, you know, I've seen it happen. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
So we had Damari go out one more, 20 pounds heavier. He didn't get his. And the guy ended up not getting his third attempt. And that was a wrap. He took best lifter and took home the money, you know, on his first meet.
That's nuts. That's so
and then
nuts.
to see him happy, to see him, you know, proud of that moment. You know, I was listening to him afterwards. He was talking about stuff, you know, people like, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. And for him to go out and do it. So that was an awesome moment, dude. You know, to hear him and learn a little bit more about him, that was pretty neat, you know.
And, you know, something that I'm really proud of for him. A little backstory. I hope he doesn't mind me telling this story. I don't think he'll care, but I'm so proud of Damari for figuring out CTX, because when he came in, he was very quiet. He was very reserved, and he kind of rubbed some people the wrong way just because he didn't vibe yet. He didn't know how CTX worked, and he ingratiated himself in CTX, and he has become someone, in my mind at the very least, who is very supportive of everyone else, and which makes us want to support him. You know, he's one of the guys that is on every single one of my TikTok lives. He's one of the guys that comments on Stache and Beard Show. He shows up to the gym. You know, there were a couple times he didn't even lift. He just came to help, you know, spot and to load weights. Like he 100% grew into that. Yeah.
No, and like you said, he grew into it and accepted it, you know, type of thing. It did in the beginning. You know, it's tough for some people. Some people don't. You can't just throw them into the group setting type of thing and expect them to fly. And there's some that, you know, you got to give them time. You know, they're like, you know, they'll be quiet. I don't know how many times. Like, I'm trying to think of specifics from the first gym to the second gym. You know, people would come in and just be with us, but they'd be off on the side, you know, and they'd be quiet, and you'd see them kind of listen, and then and then slowly start making comments. And next thing you know, like you're part of the group, even though you've been a part of the group, you know, type of thing.
Yeah.
So, you know, everybody moves at their own pace, and, you know, it was just a good day yesterday, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
really
to
good
see
day.
Everybody show up and, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just to hear his story, you know, a little more. I was like, man, dude, that's awesome now, you know. Now you can go show these people this shit's real. You know, that it's not a joke, that this isn't just you talking out the side of your neck type of thing, that, you know, like, oh, powerlifting is what you do. And now you have a total. Chad told him as soon as he got his first deadlift, he's like, well, now you're a real powerlifter.
You've got a total. Congratulations. You're in.
You know, type of thing. So it was good.
Good. That's awesome. So, love to hear it. We actually have some listener questions that we're going to get to in the next segment that I got from my Instagram story from a couple weeks ago. So we'll get into that in the next segment. This is the Stache and Beard Show. We'll be back right after this.
Later, motherfuckers.